The Lingering Whispers, an introduction to forgotten languages. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine standing amidst ancient ruins, the wind carrying faint murmurs, fragments of words once spoken by civilizations long gone. Words that built empires, told love stories, shared myths, and whispered secrets. Languages that are now silent, yet their echoes remain embedded in stone tablets, parchments, and songs that no living person can understand. But what if these forgotten languages are not truly lost? What if they are sleeping, waiting for someone to awaken them? Welcome to the mesmerizing world of linguistic archaeology, a realm where history is not merely read in books or seen in museums, but heard, felt, and rediscovered through the painstaking unraveling of ancient tongues. Throughout human history, over 7,000 languages have existed, but tragically, the vast majority have faded into obscurity. Some disappeared due to conquest and colonization, others because of cultural shifts, or simply the inexorable passage of time. Yet, every forgotten language is a keyhole to the past, offering glimpses into the minds, emotions, and lives of people who walked the earth centuries ago. Take, for instance, the mysterious script of Linear B. For decades, it sat as an enigma tablet filled with cryptic symbols from ancient Mycenaean Greece. Unreadable, unknowable. Scholars pored over them, speculated, but the language remained locked. That was until a young British architect named Michael Ventris, with no formal linguistic training, embarked on a mission driven by sheer curiosity. After years of obsessive work, he cracked the code, revealing that Linear B was an early form of Greek. Suddenly, forgotten words from 1400 BCE spoke again, lists of offerings to gods, inventories of goods, even administrative records. It wasn't just a linguistic victory, it was as though a veil had been lifted, offering humanity a direct conversation with a civilization lost in time. But Linear B is just one example among countless linguistic mysteries that still lie unresolved. Imagine the Harappan script of the Indus Valley, civilization etched on seals and pottery. These symbols remain undeciphered. What stories do they tell? Trade transactions, religious chants, personal letters, no one knows. Yet, these whispers from antiquity continue to challenge and inspire modern-day linguists and archaeologists alike. Here's a thought-provoking question. What if we could hear the very last words ever spoken in a language that died out thousands of years ago? Not through mere translation, but to hear the original sounds, intonations, and rhythms. To feel the emotional weight carried in syllables that haven't graced human ears for millennia. Would it change how we perceive history? Would it bring us closer to our ancestors, knowing that language, the most human of all inventions, transcends time when given a chance to be heard again? Linguistic mysteries are not just academic puzzles. They are stories of human resilience, migration, conquest, and sometimes of tragic loss. Every language lost is a library of knowledge erased, a worldview silenced. Yet, there is hope. Through the tools of epigraphy, phonology, and computational analysis, linguists today are on the verge of reviving these ancient voices. In this documentary, we embark on a journey through forgotten languages that shaped our world, exploring not only their hidden meanings, but also the emotional, cultural, and philosophical treasures they conceal. From the ancient glyphs of the Mayans to the forgotten tongues of Siberian tribes, we'll uncover how languages carry the essence of human identity. This isn't just about deciphering old texts. It's about listening to the echoes of humanity itself. As we move forward, you will witness how deciphering a lost language is like assembling a jigsaw puzzle with half the pieces, missing a daunting yet profoundly rewarding task. Each discovery, no matter how small, is a step closer to breathing life into a voice that's been silent for centuries. Prepare yourself. The whispers of forgotten languages are about to become a roaring conversation. The codebreakers, unsung heroes of linguistic archaeology. Picture a dimly lit study, where the only sound is the soft scratch of a pencil over ancient symbols. A scholar, surrounded by towering stacks of books and crumbling manuscripts, leans in closer, deciphering glyphs that haven't been read for thousands of years. This is not a scene of fictional adventure. It's the reality of linguistic codebreakers, the unsung heroes who unlock the voices of forgotten civilizations. Linguistic archaeology is often overshadowed by the glamour of physical artifacts, golden masks, towering ruins, or ancient weapons. But there is a quiet, relentless battle waged on parchment, stone, and clay tablets, where these codebreakers confront puzzles crafted by time itself. Consider Jean-François Champollion, a name that resonates like a legend in the world of decipherment. In the early 19th century, Egyptian hieroglyphs were still a riddle wrapped in mystery. The ancient Egyptians had left behind colossal monuments and intricate tombs covered in pictorial symbols. Yet no one alive knew what they meant. Enter Champollion. Fueled by a childhood obsession with Egypt, he dedicated his life to cracking the code. The breakthrough came with the Rosetta Stone, a trilingual inscription carved in Greek, Demotic, and hieroglyphs. Champollion meticulously compared the texts, searching for patterns, repetitions, and the hidden logic behind the symbols. Finally, in 1822, he announced that he had unlocked the phonetic system of hieroglyphs. For the first time in over a millennium, the words of ancient Egyptian priests, pharaohs, and artisans could be read and understood. Champollion's victory was not just a scholarly achievement, it was a resurrection. He brought an entire civilization's voice back from the dead. But not every codebreaker is celebrated. Many toiled in obscurity, their names forgotten even as their discoveries illuminated history. Bedřich Rozner, a Czech linguist, faced such anonymity. In the early 20th century, he tackled the Hittite language, inscribed in cuneiform on clay tablets discovered in Turkey. The script was known, but the language was a complete mystery. Through a mixture of intuition, comparative linguistics, and audacious guesses, Rozner identified patterns that linked Hittite to the Indo-European language family. His bold claim, "I, now, will give bread to eat and water to drink," was the first Hittite sentence translated in modern times. These victories, however, are not achieved by single moments of brilliance. Deciphering a dead language is a mosaic of persistence, creativity, and collaboration. Often, it's not just about what's on the tablet, but what's missing. Codebreakers work with fragments. A chipped stone here, a faded manuscript there. Yet they piece together entire linguistic systems. In more recent times, computational linguistics and AI have joined the codebreaker's arsenal. Algorithms are now being trained to detect patterns and reconstruct dead languages by analyzing thousands of inscriptions. Imagine a neural network breathing life into forgotten tongues, suggesting plausible reconstructions of lost grammar, or even predicting what a missing piece of a manuscript might have said. Yet, for all the technological advancements, the human element remains irreplaceable. Codebreakers are more than translators. They are empathetic listeners. They don't just decode words, they resurrect thoughts, emotions, and intentions. But here, as a mind-bending thought, what if the next Rosetta Stone is hidden in plain sight? A tablet misclassified, a manuscript mislabeled, waiting for the right mind or the right machine to recognize its value. The story of decipherment is far from over. Countless scripts like the Rongorongo of Easter Island or the Proto-Lamite script of ancient Iran remain unsolved, taunting codebreakers with their silence. As we move into the next chapter, we'll explore not just how languages are deciphered, but how language itself shapes reality. Because every forgotten word is not just a sounded S, a lens through which its speakers viewed the world. Get ready. The next layer of linguistic mystery awaits. When language shapes reality, lost worldviews hidden in words. Language is more than a tool for communication, it's the very lens through which we perceive reality. Imagine trying to describe colors you've never seen or emotions your culture has no words for. Now, think of the languages that once existed but are now lost. With their disappearance, entire ways of seeing, understanding, and interpreting the world have vanished too. But what if we could resurrect those worldviews? Could we momentarily step into the minds of ancient civilizations and see life as they did? This is the hidden power of deciphering forgotten languages, not merely translating words, but reconstructing lost realities. Let us start with an example that might sound simple, but is profoundly telling. The word for water. In English, water is a straightforward noun. But in the now extinct Yuchi language of North America, water was described through verbs and actions, like the thing that flows or the life that moves. To the Yuchi, water wasn't a static object. It was alive, dynamic, ever-changing. Their language reflected a deeply symbiotic relationship with nature, viewing the environment not as a backdrop, but as a living participant in their daily lives. Similarly, ancient Sumerian texts reveal a worldview where time was circular, not linear. Phrases that modern translators struggle to interpret hint at a perception of past and future as an ever-repeating cycle, where history wasn't a straight line, but a revolving wheel. Such concepts are not just grammatical quirks. They shape how societies understood destiny, memory, and their place in the universe. One of the most haunting examples is the Ainu language of Japan, nearly extinct today. The Ainu had a word, kamai, to describe spirits, but it wasn't limited to gods or deities. Bears, trees, rivers, even tools could be considered kamai if they had a sacred presence. Every aspect of the natural world was imbued with a spirit, making daily life a constant interaction with the divine. Their language didn't separate the mundane from the spiritual. It fused them into a single, fluid experience of existence. But what happens when a language vanishes? It's not just a vocabulary that is lost, but an entire philosophy of life. Here's a mind-blowing thought. Modern science is now proving what ancient languages already encoded. Indigenous languages that describe forests as interconnected communities of tree families align with recent ecological discoveries about how trees communicate through underground fungal networks. Long before microscopes and DNA sequencing, ancient peoples had linguistic frameworks to express complex natural phenomena. Deciphering forgotten languages, therefore, isn't just about filling gaps in history books. It's about retrieving alternative models of reality. Perspectives that might offer solutions to modern problems, from environmental sustainability to mental well-being. Consider the Mayan glyphs. For centuries, their intricate pictographs were seen as mere decorative art, but as linguists slowly unlocked their meanings, it became clear these were not just records of kings and battles. They encoded astronomical cycles, agricultural knowledge, and even philosophical reflections on life, death, and rebirth. The Mayan language intertwined the cosmic with the everyday, offering a seamless blend of science, art, and spirituality. Now, imagine how many other ancient worldviews are still trapped within undeciphered scripts. The Harappan seals might reveal economic systems far ahead of their time. The Rongorongo texts of Easter Island could hold environmental wisdom about surviving in isolation. Each language is a lost encyclopedia, waiting to be read. In reviving these voices, we don't merely reconstruct words, we rebuild bridges to alternative human experiences. Every deciphered phrase is a portal to how our ancestors loved, feared, worshipped, and dreamed. As we proceed, we'll delve into the most tantalizing of linguistic enigmas, languages that defy categorization, that seem to stand apart from any known linguistic family tree. Could these be the remnants of civilizations we have yet to even discover? The journey into the whispers of humanity's past continues. And what lies ahead may redefine not just our history, but the very fabric of how we understand being human. The languages with no family, isolated tongues, and lost civilizations. Majin being a lone survivor on an island of silence, speaking a language no one else understands, not even linguists. Now imagine that this language has no relatives, no known origin, no connection to any language family on Earth. It simply exists, defying all attempts to classify it. These are the linguistic orphans of our world, isolated languages that refuse to fit into humanity as neatly organized family trees. Their very existence whispers of lost civilizations, ancient migrations, and forgotten epochs of human history. One of the most enigmatic examples is the Basque language, or Euskara, spoken in the Pyrenees Mountains between Spain and France. Despite centuries of linguistic research, Euskara remains an orphan, does not belong to the Indo-European family that dominates Europe. It predates Latin, Celtic, and Germanic languages. Some theories suggest Basque could be the last surviving language of the prehistoric inhabitants of Western Europe, a living relic from a time before Roman roads and medieval castles. Every Basque sentence spoken today is, in a way, an echo from the Stone Age. But Basque is not alone. Halfway around the world, on Japan's remote Ryukyu Islands, the Ainu language stands as another linguistic isolate. Like Basque, it resists classification. The Ainu people possess a culture steeped in animism, where language is not just communication, but a spiritual act, narratives, chants, and songs that invoke the spirits of nature. Linguists have scoured Asia for links. Yet Ainu floats alone, hinting at an ancient wave of migration, long before Japanese or Korean languages emerged. And then there are the Andamanese languages of India's Andaman Islands, like Sentinelese and Ang. These languages are spoken by indigenous tribes that have lived in seclusion for tens of thousands of years. The Sentinelese, in particular, have resisted all outside contact, making their language not just isolated in origin, but isolated in practice. Could their words preserve fragments of human speech from the dawn of migration out of Africa? The answer remains locked within their fiercely guarded shores. Each of these languages poses a tantalizing question. What forgotten civilizations, unrecorded in history books, once spoke these tongues? Linguistic isolates act like cultural time capsules. They preserve ancient grammatical structures, metaphors, and concepts that have long vanished elsewhere. Their syntax might reflect social hierarchies of prehistoric tribes. Their vocabulary might preserve the names of plants, animals, and tools no longer found in the modern world. Every sentence is a fossilized fragment of human heritage, but there's a darker side to this story. Many of these languages teeter on the edge of extinction. With globalization and cultural assimilation, the last fluent speakers are often elderly. Once they pass, the language and the worldview it carries vanishes with them. It's a sobering thought. Entire civilizations can disappear, not with a bang of conquest, but with the quiet fading of a voice. Yet, in recent years, there has been a surge in language preservation efforts. Linguists, armed with digital recorders and AI-powered analysis tools, are racing against time to document these vanishing tongues. Universities collaborate with indigenous communities, not just to record words, but to revive usage among younger generations. Language is not merely archived, it's breathed back into daily life through education, music, and storytelling. Here is a mind-bending idea to ponder. What if some of these linguistic isolates are not remnants of old civilizations, but traces of cultures we've never even known existed? Like messages from an alternative branch of human history, parallel to the narrative we've accepted. In the next chapter, we'll push this idea even further. We'll explore undeciphered scripts, mysterious writings from lost civilizations that no one has ever been able to read. From the enigmatic Rongorongo glyphs of Easter Island to the cryptic symbols of the Indus Valley civilization, these are the languages that haunt the very edges of human understanding. We're about to enter the realm of scripts that defy time, logic, and even the limits of human interpretation. The undeciphered scripts, the last frontiers of human language. Imagine standing before a wall of symbols, rows of beautifully carved signs that seem to speak, yet their meaning is locked away, forever silent. You know they carry messages from civilizations long gone, but their voices are trapped in stone, waiting for someone to understand their language once again. These are the undeciphered scripts, the last frontiers of human language, the haunting remnants of societies that left behind writing systems we still cannot read. Take, for instance, the Indus Valley civilization, one of the cradles of human urban life. Between 2600 and 1900 BCE, the cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro flourished with advanced urban planning, drainage systems, and trade networks. Yet, the small seals they left behind, covered in short sequences of pictographic signs, remain a riddle. Scholars have debated for over a century. Are these inscriptions a full-fledged language, or a system of symbols akin to trademarks or property marks? If it is a language, deciphering it would rewrite our understanding of early human history in South Asia. But for now, the Indus Script stares back at us. Elegant, concise, and silent. Then there's Rongorongo, the enigmatic script of Easter Island Rapa Nui, found on wooden tablets. These glyphs resemble little stick figure people, birds, plants, and geometric shapes. No one knows for certain when Rongorongo was developed or what it says. Some believe it holds sacred chants or genealogical records. Others suggest it may encode environmental knowledge or the islanders' tragic history of ecological collapse. Despite countless efforts, the script refuses to yield its secrets. Could it be that the key to unlocking Rongorongo was lost when the oral traditions of Rapa Nui were erased by colonialism? But perhaps the most chilling example is the Festos disc, discovered in Crete. This small clay disc, pressed with spiral patterns of stamped symbols, has baffled linguists since its discovery in 1908. Its purpose is unknown. Some believe it's a religious text. Others think it could be a game or a mnemonic device. The symbols are unique. No other known artifacts use the same system. It's as if the disc is a message from a lost culture, isolated even from its neighbors, whispering from the depths of the Bronze Age. Why do these undeciphered scripts captivate us so deeply? Perhaps because they are incomplete conversations. We sense the presence of human thought, emotion, and culture, but the words never reach us. It's like hearing a song in a language you don't understand, yet feeling its emotional gravity pull at your soul. But the quest isn't over. Today, AI-driven decipherment is opening new possibilities. Machine learning algorithms analyze patterns in ancient scripts, comparing symbol frequencies and potential grammatical structures with known languages. Recently, a team at MIT used AI to reveal structural similarities between Linear B, already deciphered, and the elusive Linear A, the script of the ancient Minoans. While Linear A remains unreadable, AI has taken us a step closer to hearing its voice. There's hope, too, in crowdsourcing. Projects like Decipher invite people worldwide to engage with undeciphered scripts, turning cryptanalysis into a collective human effort. Imagine, the person who cracks the Indus Script might not be a professor, but a curious teenager with a passion for puzzles. And here is a staggering possibility. Some scripts may never be deciphered because the languages they represent are extinct beyond recovery. They might encode oral traditions, mythologies, or ways of thinking that no longer exist in any living culture. In these cases, the script becomes a true ghost, a fragment of humanity, frozen in time, without a bridge back to meaning. Yet, even in their silence, these undeciphered scripts connect us to the vastness of human creativity. They remind us that language is fragile, and once lost, its resurrection becomes a monumental task. Every carved symbol, every inked stroke on ancient parchment, is a challenger dare from the past to the present. Can you still hear us? As we conclude this journey through forgotten languages and hidden scripts, we are left with a profound realization. Language is not just a tool of communication, but the very architecture of human consciousness. To lose a language is to lose a unique way of seeing the world. But for every language at risk, there are countless stories of revival, rediscovery, and resilience. The echoes of forgotten languages may grow faint, but they never truly disappear. They linger, waiting for us to listen.